Welcome to The Business Game,
a podcast that moves the needle.
JJ, what's your biggest tip for cash flow and money management?
Especially when you're starting out, I think cash flow is extremely important. So staying as simplistic as possible. So I think that's like the biggest part, as lean as possible. Try to be as lean and green as possible in your business. So like less employees, less moving parts, less everything. And just try to, stay like make, as much money as you can. A lot of people, especially when they go to scale, they try to hire more people, do more things, and it completely kills their cash flow. So I think definitely stay simplistic, stay lean, simplicity scales, and you'll be really good.
And JJ, just a quick follow-up on that. Is there a point, in your opinion, where it's the right time to scale, where you're lean enough, but now it's time to not be lean, to grow? What are the signals?
As a founder, as a CEO, your main goal, I think always, almost all the time, should be to go out and make more money. Whether I've talked to people at like $10 million, $10 to $100 million, $100 million plus, it's always to just go out and grow. So I think as soon as, especially for small businesses, like $1 million or less, I would say as soon as you have fulfillment locked down and good, like to the point where you could fulfill on people in a really, really good way, then go out and just try to get as many people as possible into that process.
What is your biggest tip for cash flow and money management?
Biggest tip for cash flow, I'll do them separately. To me, definitely is don't spend more than you have coming in. It's the best way for cash flow.
Yes.
Cash flow positive.
Yes.
Be
Yeah,
positive,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Always have more coming in than you have going out. And from a money management point of view, this is a lesson that I learned the hard way when I was going through a very unhappy stage in my life. And so I was trying to make myself happy externally.
Yes.
Don't buy stuff to impress other people.
Yes.
Really bad money management.
Yeah.
Right? I was spending a lot of money because I was unhappy on the inside.
Yeah.
And trying to impress people on the outside to make myself feel happy about who I was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that something you see a lot in entrepreneurs you work with?
Actually, a lot of the ones that we work with are very humble.
Right.
And yes, they might have nice cars of the company, whatever, but they're not ones who, wear things to impress or have, things just to impress other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they've earned them, and that's fine, but they don't flash it and they don't.
Yes.
But most leaders I work with, they're T-shirt and jeans and stuff like that. They're,
Nice.
and we work with multiple industries all across the globe. They're very humble in that sense.
Oh, great.
I can't think of anybody that we serve who's flashy in your face with buying stuff to impress people.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So have I seen them? Yes. They're out there 100%.
Yeah.
But and I did that. I had like 3 cars and I was only can only drive one at a time, right?
Yeah.
And all this sort of stuff because I was really unhappy. I was miserable on the inside. It was through the divorce which but leading up to.
Yes.
And so I was just spending all this stuff and bought building for our offices and this and did all these things, spent money on all this sort of stuff. So as a money management going, it was just trying to impress people. And it wasn't necessary. One of the things that was really cool about Jeff Bezos when he talked about building Amazon, he said the only thing they spend money on is if it improves the customer experience. You went to the old Amazon, they had the old doors as tables and things like that. And they're like, why don't you have really fancy offices? Well, because that money goes towards creating better customer experience. Now, I'm also for making sure you have a team have an amazing experience, but wasting money on stuff that doesn't matter or doesn't have an impact, that's my money management. That's the lesson that I learned.
I guess it gets back to purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does,
Yeah, I haven't had a car for like 2 or 3 years. I sold my car. It was used to sit in my driveway, even here.
Yeah.
Right? So and people are like, oh, you don't have a car?
How did you get
I didn't drive
here?
anywhere. I have one that we use to get me around in, but I don't have a car that's my own or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
There you go. Love that.
Not to say that I won't have one day, but right now it's just not that important.
Not in the season. Yeah.
No.
There you go.
And I have 5 blue T-shirts, 5 white T-shirts, and all my I'm very simple. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't need big fancy suits or anything anymore. When I keynote and speak around the world, I just
Be you.
I just got tired of trying to impress people.
It's exhausting. It'll burn your energy real quick.
Yeah, well, part of the hustle and grind again and all those things. Yeah. So money management, don't spend stuff on just to impress others.
Yeah.
If it matters, great. That's awesome. And cash flow, don't spend more than you earn.
Yeah.
Because I tried both those things and none of them worked.
There you go.
What is your biggest tip for cash flow and money management?
So my first tip would be knowing your numbers is more important than you'll ever realize. And you did not start a business to be your bookkeeper. So outsource your bookkeeping so that you can really learn how to read and understand your profit loss statements, your balance statement, and your cash flow. Having up-to-date financials allows you to make smart decisions, and smart decisions is what will improve your ongoing cash flow.
And what about money management? Anything around that? I mean, we talked a little bit about cash flow. What about money management? Any tips on that?
Yeah, and it goes back to bookkeeping. Here in the U.S., you can actually put money away tax deferred if you have extra money left over in the business. So again, knowing your numbers, knowing what you have going on, and then being able to start, usually in October, figuring out how much am I going to put into my different retirement accounts, that are tax deferred. Do I need to buy any equipment or anything I could write off this year if I have, very profitable business?
Yes.
So again, it all boils down to having the information to make decisions on how to manage your money. And I think the biggest tip I would add there is, as a business owner, we're responsible for our retirement, right? We're responsible to build profitable, sustainable businesses that allow us to live now and to put money away for the future.
Yes.
So, Vance, what's your biggest tip for cash flow and money management?
Well, I mean, spend less than you make is really kind of the golden rule when it comes to that.
That's solid.
Yeah.
But understanding that cash is king.
Yeah.
And that, likes and tweets and twats and all that stuff, you can't deposit any of that in the bank. The bank will laugh at you if you go and say, yeah, I'd like to deposit 1,000 likes. But if you show up with money, it's going in.
Yeah, right.
Where do you think businesses struggle most with that? Because it is a constant thing that we hear, and I'm sure you do as well. Oh, cash flow, or, where does it go wrong?
Well, I think most entrepreneurs have shiny object syndrome. And so they will get roped into the latest, I've got to have a LinkedIn presence. I've got to have this. I got to have AI doing this. And they just, there's no return on their investment into all of these different things. And if they just stop, look at what's working, do more of that, and then maybe try one item or two items, to add to the mix. Really, it's just, there's so many charlatans and, really bad folks out there that are just selling a load of crap, and it's staying away from them and having the resolve to not be swayed by these folks that are selling the quick fix.
I think so often as well, there's a lot of things, especially if you're working online or you're trying to maintain an online presence. So many things are subscription based as well. So there is just this constant stream of things coming, not even coming in, just going out, things that you're purely paying for. And I guess that's a really interesting thing as well. A good point is to maybe have a look at where all of your money is going. Do you actually need to have 7 subscriptions to be, keeping up with the Joneses in whatever way?
And just on that, Vance, have you got any tips about how do you manage that, monitor it, control it even?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to say I do it quarterly, but it usually ends up being twice a year. But I will go through every line item of every vendor that we're using and say, do we need that? Do we need that?
Right.
Can we find this somewhere better? Do we need that? And I challenge the general manager. I'm like, when did we start buying this? And he goes, well, I bought it once and, customers really love it and we were able to raise prices. Oh, great. keep
Well,
doing
then carry
it.
on. Yeah.
Or, I'll ask them, when did we start buying our spray bottles from this company? They seem to be twice the price. Oh, yeah, I bought them once because the other company was out and I just never switched back to the old vendor. Come on, dummy.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So you really have to do it is look line by line on your P&L, line by line on your credit card statements, and just like, especially all of these apps that are charging you $9 and $11 a month. I mean, those things add up quick. You just got to, half of them you're probably not using anymore.
Yeah, good call.
All right, Walter, what's your biggest tip for cash flow and money management?
Old school, minimize debt. Right? Keep your debt low, and you'll have the cash flow. It's interesting. I've experienced it with my own business, where eyes get a little bigger than your cash flow, and you get yourself into debt. It takes a minute to get out, and then once you're out, you realize, holy crap, I'm making a lot more money because I'm not paying that debt service. So it's something I learned from a guy I worked for 20 years ago. He had zero debt in the business. There was a fleet of trucks, there was buildings, there was capital equipment, all paid for.
Amazing.
He made so much money.
Yeah. What would be a quick tip or what is the first thing you should do to reduce the debt if you've got a big debt in business?
Take the one that's costing you the most and start eliminating that, and just tick it down. Don't get further into debt. Don't buy more. Be much more focused on your core. But start systematically paying that down. And if that costs you paying yourself, then do that.
Yeah.
Pay down the debt.
Yeah.
Stephen, what's your biggest tip about money management and cash flow?
Well, number one thing is, if you're looking for cash flow, buy assets that cash flow, right? Don't buy assets that you expect to hopefully one day produce cash.
Right.
Because if they're not producing cash right now, you probably have a lot of work to get to a point when they do.
Oh, fascinating. That's a really good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
What about money management?
However much money you think you need, especially if you're going to start a business, get 3 times as much.
Yeah.
Just get way more than you think.
Yeah.
Because there's things always happen.
Yeah.
And just on that, if you're starting up or looking to expand, in your view, is it okay to go into debt to do that?
So I would prefer you you sell a portion of your business to fund that. You do an angel round, right? You do a seed round or something like that. And get some semblance of product market fit and maybe some free cash flow. And once you have some free cash flow, then think about debt. But if you have no other options, like if the option doesn't exist, like you don't have anybody who will give you pre-seed or seed or whatnot, and you have a burning desire, like, yes, like you chase what your heart desires. And I think that, if it's something you really want, it'll be worth it.
Okay, Arthur, what's your biggest tip for cash flow and money management?
Always making sure you have enough to put away, whether that's in a high yield savings or an investment account, but always putting something away, no matter how small or insignificant it might seem. Always do it. Even if it's $1 or $2, always put money towards something that you're not going to spend. I would say besides that, letting professionals do their job. So seeking out a fiduciary, taking their advice and adhering to it. We all like to think that we're the experts of our lives for sure, but there are people who specialize that. Let them do their job.
Thanks for tuning in to The Business Game.
If you like what you heard, make sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn to stay connected.
A big thank you to our major sponsor, TraffTrack, for powering today's episode.
And join us again on the next episode of The Business Game, a podcast that moves the needle.